Hello Guardians, today something new, but something I plan on doing every week from now on, and that is news, Destiny news. I'm probably going to do it while doing the weekly bounties, something like that, just as a bit of a background thing to do. But yeah, I think it'd be quite useful. It'll be giving you updates on what's happening in the background and what's going on currently. But today I'm going to bring you the notes from the Bungie website, from the news update that comes once a week from them. I'm going to give my opinion on it and what I think it means. But obviously that's my opinion and it's not 100% true. So first things first is what they came up straight away to mention was what's next, what they're planning on doing next. It's a new year, fresh start, so obviously we're all keen on to see what they're going to be bringing. And the first thing they mentioned was that there's going to be no Crimson Days, so no Valentine's Day relevant event, if that makes sense. So that's not coming back for anyone that's got missions for it and they're holding on to them. It's not coming back. Whether you want to keep on to them to see if they do bring it back next year, that's up to you, but obviously Destiny 2 will be back, so I'd say scrap them. They then go on to mention that they've got other plans. So that says to me that they've scrapped Crimson Days for a reason. In other words, putting the time into something else that's going to be more worthwhile. So maybe that could be worth looking into, maybe not. So once they've finished talking about that and saying, I mean, it's very short, them saying that they're not really expanding into Crimson Days and why it's been cancelled. But they then go on to mention the next content update. They don't say what it is or when it will be. They're just saying that the live team is working on it and that they'll be mentioning more information on it closer to the time. So we don't really have any information on what that could be, but since they've cancelled Crimson Days, I would say that we're probably looking around February time, maybe late February, for the release date. You know, it just seems to add up. I can't see them making us go 4 or 5 weeks without any content updates, because, well, it just wouldn't be good for the game. So yeah, I reckon we're looking at a good 2 or 3 weeks for the next content update. And, well, it's from the sounds of it, it's going to be quite a good one. Now, after that, they're then going to mention the next balance update. So since they've mentioned both of them in the same news, it shows us they're working on both and not just one. Now, my theory is that the next balance update will come before the next big content update. One, because it's been a while since we've had one. 2, the state of the Matador gets mentioned, and that's been, well, there for a while now. So I think that is something they are working on in secret, and they're going to mention that actually, to say that they are looking into it and trying to figure out a solution in the background of the Bungie labs, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they do specifically mention the Matador, and they do say that they want to balance the state of shotguns, but they don't want to nerf them into the ground. They don't want to completely destroy them, making them irrelevant. I think they just want to bring a balance so that both snipers and fusion rifles are a viable option compared to shotguns. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do there, but it could be something simple as the range. Well, I don't know if they can change the range. I think they're going to have to change the range, but they're going to have to do something maybe about handling, in terms of like how you can use them, like when you're jumping around, flying around with them. Maybe there's going to be a perk on it where instead of increasing range, you have to be tactile with them. I don't know how they're going to work it, because at the moment it's just basically a rushing gun and you run at people head on and that's it. It's don't really take any special skill to use, and if you are skilled with it, then you can tend to wipe out a full team with one, which is where you feel it is a bit unbalanced because, well, with a sniper you can't really go through an entire team because of how long range it is, and the same with the fusion rifle. It's got too much charge time to be beneficial against 3 people at once. So yeah, the fact they've mentioned that, I think that that's saying they're going to be doing the balance update before the next content update. But then they also go on to mention that because they've done so much looking into it, that they're going to have charts and data available for us to look at in terms of what they've done to come to the conclusion they have done on shotguns, which I'm going to be quite interested in doing, seeing like what sort of research they've done, what sort of changes they made that didn't work and did work. And not only that, but it'll give us an idea of how we're going to need to use shotguns in the future when they do release that. So yeah, that's pretty interesting to say that they are going to bring it out. And it's also going to be interesting to see what other guns they do buff and nerf. Whether they'll nerf anymore, I don't know, but they could buff a few guns. I'm hoping to see something with high caliber rounds, because at the moment I think that does impact snipers quite a bit compared to other weapons, especially with Clever Dragon. So doing something with high caliber rounds could be quite a good thing as well. Probably a few people kick off say about that, but I believe Clever Dragon just does too much flinching and too much damage at the moment. You know, I mean, I can use a grasp and it does quite well against them, but it's still the upper hand to the Clever Dragon. And then lastly, but not least, you may have seen that they've been doing the Bungie Bounty Days. The good news that I like about this is they're saying that it will now become a weekly thing. It's not just going to end in February, they're going to be on every week, which is good because it gives you a higher chance of getting the emblem from defeating the Bungie Bounty. Because obviously they only used to do it once a month, which meant it was pretty damn difficult to get it. So now they've just made it a little bit easier to get that emblem. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'm going to bring you one of these per week on the news that I've read and have found out. Today it was just based off the news on the Bungie website, just because that's the only time I've had to look into. But I'm going to start looking into other secrets and news that are out there, even if it's only theories and possibilities. I still think it's interesting to know, to see how things develop around those theories. So yeah, I will see you next time. That's me out.